Three, two, one. This is for the Duder, the kind one 444 on Twitter for your comments on my page for my opinion on the Face the Nation 60 Minutes today. And the topic is, why are teachers holding out so long, almost 4 semesters, pretty much blackmailing kids that do not need to be vaccinated, won't come back to teach unless kids are vaccinated? Thou shalt not form an opinion. I want to start off by saying, Duder, by you posting my picture and writing, these are your exact words. This comes from a person, and you put my picture. Hey, I understand you want to be comical, but that's a form of straight up discrimination. You're discriminating my appearance. There's one thing to rebuttal my opinion and write, well, why do you think teachers should go work somewhere else if they don't want to teach, versus not only discriminating a person based on their appearance, but totally distracting from the actual topic. Now, I'm going to reword it for you people at CBS real quick about my opinions about why teachers have been holding out so long while the science in other countries have been obvious that kids can be going back to school. The problem is nobody has any ideas on how to get the kids back to school, starting with CBS broadcasters and journalists. You guys go out there and broadcast. You have Paula Reed sitting there crapping on former President Trump to the point, but no one has a story or report that has their idea on how kids can get back to school with the information that you have from science and actual facts, a real CBS report. But instead, it's now 4 semesters, kids are not back in school, and they're not going back to school now with this argument unless they get vaccinated. Listen, kids don't need to get vaccinated. You need to prepare for, as the CDC says, in case there's another form in a few years, another SARS 2 or 3. Now, you guys got the information wrong big time, the big media, especially CBS. Now, this is what I want to say real quick to Duder on Twitter, the kind one with those unkind words. You discriminated me, my friend. I hope you're not working with the network, because discrimination is a certain thing I don't like. You guys sit there and criticize prejudice and other things, but it's okay to discriminate. You guys seem to be okay with it, because I've been following that for several years. Now, when you put my picture there, this comes from a person. Write your opinion about why you think teachers, it's okay for them to be holding out. My opinion. This is what I want to say to all the teachers that have held out. My opinion is there's some coordinated effort that you wanted the kids to be distracted and affected by learning. Now, by whom, I don't know. But fuck teachers that have gone overly longer not teaching the kids, because you came into the profession to teach kids, and the science is there. You all had your ability in all the cities to come up with ideas of how to revolutionize education. Instead of cramming in 30 kids in a classroom, you could have 15. You have different ways of doing it, but you wanted it to be virtual. So first of all, don't lie about why this all happened, because it's not just one thing about COVID, CBS, you guys made an error about. It's the whole narrative. Now, what I want to know is, while you have people criticizing the former administration so much, why is no one criticizing this administration about President Biden saying multiple times the AFT? It's not the AFT, sir. It's the ATF. This is the person that's going to make new laws. He doesn't know whether it's the AFT or the FIB or the CIA, or it's just ridiculous that we have a national crisis going on and the people that are in charge of it aren't even willing to go look at it firsthand. I mean, don't insult me, duder, on Twitter, please. If you're going to insult the opinion, that's fine. I'm okay with insulting the opinion. But I want to reword it one more time, especially that Randi Weinhardt lady and people like her. I've heard your opinions. You've been wrong. If you're panicking about getting sick, go drive and work somewhere else, at Jack in the Box, anywhere. Anytime we are talking about companies, you guys are reversing everything like it's some form of wrong. Well, look, you just wronged me by discriminating me. And I hope CBS, that is not one of your Twitter bots or person that created an account, because it's ironic. 444 is the amount of followers that I have. So whoever has that account didn't just criticize my opinion, because they did not criticize my opinion. And I'm going to say it one more time. I'm going to reword it. Fuck teachers that have overly longed this issue and not allowing kids to be educated. In my opinion, kids need to go back to school already, yesterday. Please. The ones that are holding out now, I'm going to say it again. Fuck those teachers. Definitely. Why are they getting rewarded on bailout money for not doing their job? Just mind boggles me, while they had other ways of collecting those benefits, starting with the $600. It's just so hideous. You're saying you're complaining about my appearance, and I'm wearing a Padres hat instead of an Angels hat. I'm trying to look young. I have braces that are working in my dentistry, and you're criticizing my appearance, not the opinion. So I want to say it one more time. Fuck teachers. Kids need to go back to school yesterday. If they're not already in school with not a municipal or city plan, there's something wrong. And I'm not going to get into the things that are wrong on this take, because this is strictly for you, 444, duder, for putting my picture there. That is just the second day in a row where I've been attacked in a discriminating fashion by posting an opinion on Twitter. And I want to know, where is it coming from? Because obviously, my news, if you went into my Twitter page, I have all the facts of COVID, when it happened, before the news got the news, if you go and scroll down. So that is coming from a guy who's been keeping track of this national emergency, while our leaders aren't going down to check out the other national emergency, while cases are being imported, while they're telling us not to go to school. I'm going to say it one more time. Fuck teachers that won't go back and teach already. I mean, if you don't want to teach, go work somewhere else. That's just the bottom line. You need to stop being worried about forcing kids to have to get vaccinated when the elderly over 60 are the first ones that need to get vaccinated. The kids do not need to get vaccinated right now. You need to see how this whole vaccination trial goes the first 36 months before you even consider giving kids vaccinations, because their science has proven they're able to weather the storm or have stronger immunity. They're not the age group that needs the vaccination. And if the teachers are paranoid of getting sick because of the kids, you guys are not following the science. That's the bottom line. CBS, I called you out. You guys boneheaded 60 Minutes last week. You lied about Governor DeSantis in those statements. And everyone in the media knows it. It doesn't take a guy with a San Diego hat to notice it. And I didn't even waste my time with your coverage because you've already done this sort of thing multiple times. It's like, do I want news? I don't even look for CBS for news. I don't even look for CNN for news. We really have maybe a 10% little gap of where we're getting our news. And I want you to, one more time, this is coming from a guy. This is what you said, Kindness 444 Duder. Well, I got more sources on my pages than the sources that you've been getting on that page. 60 Minutes, Face the Nation, and everyone combined in that network. So that's where it's coming from. A guy who's been beating the news to the punch and has sources on the pages to back it up with both presidents. I'm going to leave the take right there on youtube.com, Jamestown, California. I'm going to say it one more time. Teachers, if you guys don't want to come back to school after each of your governors have allowed the mandates to come back to school, and now it's time to come back to school by the end of this month, then I just want to say to those teachers one more time, fuck teachers, okay? It's time to start caring about the students. And you guys want to bail out all the students and college kids for their thousands and thousands of dollars of debt while other students couldn't get into those schools because they didn't want to accumulate the debt, just defeats the whole purpose of earning an education in the first place. Shows you guys don't value education in the first place on any level. And it just shows your true, what you want to do with education. It's just absolutely hideous. And one more time, fuck teachers that want to force kids to be vaccinated before you go back to go and teach. And I'm going to leave the take right there. Kids don't need to be vaccinated right now. If there's another pandemic, and I hope that the government is working on a vaccination in case there is another pandemic. I'm just curious if that's a yes or no question. Are they? I mean, that's coming from a guy who's following the news before the news gets the news. I get the news. I post it. I put my sources there. And I'm beating the news to the punch on the national emergency 10 weeks last year before President Trump actually announced it. And I was very critical on former President Trump that whole first 2 months of the way he handled it. But the vaccines we're talking about here, for whatever age group you're talking about, would not have occurred unless Operation Warp Speed occurred. And this administration either sold the first round of vaccine, knowing other companies like AstraZeneca were coming up with other vaccines. You guys might have, when you say there was not vaccines, that's a ground of impeachment because the administration had multiple millions of vaccines and you lied. And that lie is a ground of impeachment right there on your first week. Look, if you guys don't want to go down to Texas, then you're going to have to put out some statement this week that you have some sort of plan on how to curb this. Otherwise, it defeats the purpose. Like I said, fuck teachers that don't want to teach, having kids already 4 semesters not in school. 1 semester, that's fine. 2 semester, we're starting to worry about it. 3 semesters, I think you're starting to overdoing it. 4 semesters, fuck teachers. And that's just the bottom line. That's coming from a guy who just switched his hat. And I do that because that's National League. I'm wearing my National League hat versus my American League hat, because when I do want to say words like fuck teachers, I don't want to be wearing my Los Angeles Angels hat. I'm going to leave the take right there at youtube.com, Jamestown, California.